Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Poisoner's Almanac. I'm your co-host, Adam.
I'm Rebecca.
How you doing, sweetie?
All right. I am a little annoyed that October has gone by so fast.
Mm.
Like September felt like it just dragged. And then it's like we finally get to a month I like, and it's like, oh, you're enjoying this? It's not going to last.
The audacious inertia of September this year.
Right. And then, it's about to be November, and, I like food too, people are probably that don't live in America are like, what does November have to do with food? We have Thanksgiving here,
Yes.
which is built on lies and
Yes.
everything. But still,
we give thanks that we were able to eliminate enough of the natives with communicable disease to take over their land. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
I am sorry.
We're just talking straight in 2025.
Look, I don't know who my ancestors were, but they were probably not the best. So,
yeah.
Anyway, that or terribly misinformed, and here I am. Yep.
All right, let's go to some comments here. This is from YouTube. We posted the video version to the Study Show YouTube channel, which a lot of you guys probably found us through. Tina 503.
Tina. Sorry, that's fun.
They say a spoonful of creamy Jif peanut butter will cure your hiccups every time. Unless you're allergic to peanuts, then don't. It works for me always. Thank you for that tip. I might try that.
I wonder if honey would do it too. Like, is it the texture or is it?
I think it's how it forces. It might be the viscosity of peanut butter. It forces your.
I know honey helps with coughs, but yeah, peanut butter. It's also good protein, right?
Organized Chaos 918 says, very informative. Great read, Becca. Lots of super cool thumbs up emojis in there.
Fun times.
Jend 7390 says, favorite YouTube creators referencing my favorite movies and my personal special interest deep dive historical figure. Awful person, but I think he's why we poke roadkill with sticks at one point. During my favorite time of the year, ? Feeling the love.
Nice.
And this is for the Dracula episode.
Dracula.
Yes. Betty Crone says, hello. Well, hello, Betty. Thank you for watching the podcast. Ms. Mogo, who it appears had like a stream of consciousness comment stream on here. It sounds like they watched the whole thing and commented in real time as they were watching.
Oh, that's fun.
They say
commentary.
Exactly, real-time commentary. Ms. Mogo says, impalement on par with the Viking blood eagle.
Then
they say, yay, I made it. I don't know what that's in reference to.
Maybe through all the gruesomeness, the gore. There was some gory stuff. I did put time stamps on there just in case, because I know sometimes kids listen to us too.
And then they say, Canadians have things like loonies and toonies for money, which I don't know what that is.
We got a lot of Canadian listeners, so y'all let us know.
Yeah. And then they recommend it's pronounced ducats.
Ducats.
Yeah. They typed it as DUCK-ITS. Ducats.
Ducats.
Duca.
We were having so much fun with that last time.
Yes.
Ducats.
Yeah. But you guys can find the video version of the
Charlie Ducat. Sorry.
You guys can find the video version of the podcast on the Study Show YouTube channel. So that's where all these comments are from here.
Ducats.
I know. Is that Graham Norton? That's Graham Norton, right?
I love Graham Norton.
And then on the Vampires Part 2 episode, Erin, our actual friend in real life, one of the best people alive, she says the Ouroboros mirror is also an Akatar.
Oh, that's where I heard the name, because she was sitting next to me, and I was like, why does that sound familiar?
Yes.
And she might have found out and been like, I discovered why it sounds familiar.
That's right.
Nice.
And for the uninitiated, Akatar is an acronym that stands for A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Makes sense,
which is a book by Sarah J. Maas.
And the Ouroboros is it's an old sort of symbol, so it makes sense.
What kind of book is A Court of Thorns and Roses? It is fairy smut, and Jesus can see you. But no, that book series is actually fantastic, and so is Crescent City.
I like Crescent
I've
City.
read all of them.
A lot of people
It's
have
so
a hard
good.
time getting into Crescent City. They say because it's like it takes a while to get into. But I love.
Oh, come on!
I love.
Sit down and read a book for once.
I love the character building and the world building in it, and it's got some mystery to it.
Yes,
I like it.
It's the length of book she would rather have.
My,
Sarah Moss.
My cousin, who's also named Sarah, she read the first Crescent City in 6 hours.
She's also an emergency room physician.
Oh yeah, she's kind of had to.
She's a smart kid.
Be quick.
Yes.
So.
All right, let's take it to housekeeping for the old podcast. Thank you all so much for following, subscribing, liking, sharing on whatever platform you're listening on. Thank you in advance for leaving 5-star reviews on platforms like Spotify. Those are piling up. Thank you for that. Be sure to follow us on socials. We got links in the show notes for our personal socials and for the dedicated podcast socials. The Patreon is up and running. Let us know what kind of content you'd like to see on the Patreon. Link in the show notes to financially support the podcast on a monthly basis, if you'd like.
Do we need to get some peanut butter?
No. Sorry. We have 3 tiers on our Patreon now. The $1 a month gets you weekly bonus episodes, the option to leave us a voicemail that we play here on the podcast, and you get shouted out by name on the podcast. The $3 a month tier includes all of that and the Poison in the News segment. And then the $5 tier includes everything in the first 2 tiers, and also the Camilla-sodes, which are family-oriented, neurodivergent, educational.
It's me and my 10-year-old.
Yes.
Talking. Some things poison, some things, a lot of science, a lot of plant-based nature. We get out into the wild a little bit. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
That's right.
So
what tier gives access to the Discord?
All of them.
All of them. Okay.
I was wondering if you mentioned the Discord. The Discord gives you,
We have a Discord.
Yeah.
And you can join it through the Patreon. You can find the link for that through the Patreon once you become a patron. And Becca's also going to be doing live streams on Discord when she gets the chance.
Actually we tried it on Friday. Mm-hmm. And Erin was with me, guiding me through some buttons because
nice.
She knows computers better than I do, I think.
Oh, you streamed it on the MacBook?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I had the app on here, and she and I were like, I think it's that one, trying to find the buttons. And we got on there, and we got a visit from Dalek Party for a little bit while she was on break, I think, at the job. So that was nice. Great. Thanks for stopping by. It was kind of a test run. Like, obviously not everybody can be there at that. It was like one something, 1:15 or something.
The listenership is spread across the world.
And so it was really, I was trying to make sure I knew how to do it. So when I do set up times and stuff, I can know what I'm doing.
Can you go back and watch a live stream on Discord? Do you know yet?
I haven't checked that out yet.
Okay.
I'll look.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And then another segment we've also just added once a month is it the top tier for the $5 tier?
Yeah, with the Camilla-sodes, yeah.
Right. It's known as Neuromixed Chats, where Becca and I discuss being a neuromixed couple and the challenges and strategies for that, living that kind of life.
We've got a lot of content for that.
So much content for that.
It's been fun, though.
And the first one we did was a ton of fun, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback on. So, yep, that's the Patreon. And speaking of the patrons, we got to shout to people out here. 87 Pens Girl 71, Mara Santiago, Grace Lahan, Genevieve, Nehev Shetreat, Jay Went, Eakin Hafner, Akira Yorsek, Tay of Sunshine, Monique, Shane R, Sue Steves, James Mills, Megan Geiler, Liz B, Wooly Wolf NZ, Mama G, Nicole Rivers, Richard Miyako, Heather Nolan, Kaylee, Sasha Rubel, Maya Shostak, Maggie's Yarm, Ogre the Viking, Lynn Rocket, Brett Moser, Zaid, Neil Houdini, Nicole Crane, Jefferson Vargas, Carmen Q, Sarah G, Knittin Ninja, Estar, Olive Octopus, Betsy Rich, T-Bug, Christine Moljadi, Morgan Brittingham, Blau Frosch, a.k.a. Clara Jersons, Vix, Anne Maria, Carl Ziegler Jr., Clyde, Jennifer Wilson Richter, Too Fidgety, Wendy G, Elena M.K., Caitlin Martin, Pungram 101, Minnesota SPT, Tasha, Stuart Slattery, Simone Valdez, Christian Scradergaard, Boney? Boney?
What?
The next name is Oma D, so the long O vowel got stuck in my psyche. Bonnie, although if you want to go by Boney, just send us a DM. Oma D, Rhinella Laura, Kristen Arnold, Aaron Carey, Lynn Simpson, Melissa Emmel, Desiree Davis, Jennifer Ramirez Johnson, Dalek Party, the aforementioned, The Warped Witch, Dizzy Dancer, Creative Otter, Yadmit, Supergirl Sway, Rachel, Anya Brandt, Ebby, Leah Marie Matson, Lady Digitalis, Jesse, Shay 10, Julia Franzoni, Sparks, Gloria Eichmann, Thomas Huff, From Strange to Things, Soy Kasumi, Jessica Gasparini, Robert Jr., Caitlin Donna Lanjanese, Lawrence Smith, Anna G., Serpentine Fire, Melanie the SLP, Stuart Lee, Solstice, Chris Millanak, Mackenzie Kennedy, Libby, Hetty, Hantapalooza, J Moon, Kelsey H., Paper Sky, Hannah Cook, Nikki Larkin, Campazar, Rawr, Britt Clark, Paris Longer, Andrea Shameless Agitator, Ruby Salazar, Cassandra Smiles, Liam, Daniel Soray, Jasmine Kapow 73, Dr. Doom, and please welcome 3 new patrons. Paya Koronen, please let us know if I'm pronouncing these correctly or not. Vanessa Niddeberg and Maureen Hart. Thank you all for financially supporting the podcast.
Yeah.
That brings us to today's topic, which is,
well, we're still in our spooky season series. Honestly, I was thinking about doing a live one evening this week where I just read some Edgar Allan Poe or something. Cozy.
That's a brilliant idea.
Have some nice candles. And, you know, if it's a appropriate one, maybe Camilla can sit with me. Who knows? She's got her own little set of Poe stories. I made sure it wasn't like some of the super dark
Telltale Heart.
That is a good one, though. They start reading that one in middle school anyway.
Middle school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got excited when I was in my middle grades education program thing, which I'm not using anymore.
You are, though.
I kind of am, yeah.
You supervise our child's education here at home.
I got burned out before I even got a job. It's a hard work. Being a teacher is hard. It is so hard. More pay for teachers.
Yes.
But they, one of the things I got to do around the apprenticeship that I was in for it was go through some of my favorite stories. And of course, you know, you get excited about it. Some of those middle schoolers, they don't really care. But I would have whole just things around. We did the Telltale Heart. And I'm like, isn't that cool? And they're just like, okay.
6, 7.
Oh my God. And, you know, they're young. They, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
But then also we did the Speckled Band with Sherlock Holmes. It's one of my favorites too. Anyway, but that's what we're talking about today. I just thought I would mention that maybe we could do that. But we are still in spooky season. Next week is Halloween, Samhain, if you like. And I think we should go over a poisoning case that has since led to the yearly, well, not just led, but heightened the yearly candy scares and the plot twist in that case that should alleviate some fears, maybe. Kind of a dark plot twist, but it's more of a personal plot twist. So not for me, but for who was involved. Yeah. So I don't know about everyone else, but it feels like parents of most millennials have had this lingering fear that we're all just going to die of some psychotic killer or be kidnapped or drugged. Was that just my mom? My mom, look, no, there are three ways I was possibly going to die growing up. I was either going to be kidnapped. That was bad. I literally just flipped everybody off.
Whoop.
I was going to be kidnapped. Sorry.
Leave it in.
Unintentional.
Leave it in.
Unintentional. That was going to be kidnapped. I was going to.
I just got a notification. Our YouTube channel's been banned.
I was going to die in a house fire, or I was going to drown. Even though I'm an excellent swimmer, I really am. Like I used to win medals when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, she wouldn't let me go to the lake with my friends. I was pretty sore about it. I get it though.
But also, let's tell the whole story here. Also, your mom had this uncanny ability to find you.
She
if
did.
You were
in my crazy 20s.
Yeah. She could just start driving and find you somehow.
It was very strange.
So, who do you believe?
Look, my mom was overprotective, but my mom had some sixth sense or something. She just knew things. That being said, yeah, I was always in danger according to her. So, and she's still kind of overprotective.
The same.
My 10-year-old will tell her, "You're just overprotective," and I do like that she's that way when she has my own kid, though. So I will say that. At least I know that she's
It's true.
going to be safe.
Yeah.
Also, I think the parents of millennials think we're just going to get ourselves killed because they think we can't manage our own lives well enough. It's always, our parents are always butting in and being like, well, you should. And it's like, this is not 1970. Okay. Now, more recently in Halloween history, there was the fentanyl scare going around. And I don't want to say fentanyl scare as if like there is no real like fentanyl opioid problem. There is,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about the one with Halloween candy. Okay. The government officials were literally claiming that certain groups of people were going to put fentanyl in your kids' candy. Well, street or illegal fentanyl can be cut or made to look like candy. Like they had like something called rainbow fentanyl at one point. They were warning parents about. It was more like to make it more appealing to customers and to hide its identity. They weren't actually sneaking it into Halloween candy. Now, they were like trying to smuggle it in as Skittles one time or something like that. But that was a smuggling thing. It wasn't a here, kiddies, right? So like there's some like truth to the whole fentanyl can look like candy, but a child has not received fentanyl in their Halloween buckets. Okay. It's not, it just hasn't happened. Also, it really wouldn't make sense for drug dealers or users to waste money or product on such a thing. Like one reason those officials tried to give in relation to this claim was that they want to get your kids addicted so they come back for more. It's like, this isn't McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like don't get me wrong, they're French fries.
Let me get this straight. You want to get children hooked on fentanyl?
But if you give it, my thing though is giving it to children, you're more likely to kill a kid.
Yes.
Than actually get them hooked on something so they come back.
It's an insanely strong drug.
Also, where are kids going to get money to pay for your product?
What's the business model here, folks?
Like, it doesn't make any sense when you really think about it. Like, they're going to put this stuff in your kids' Halloween stuff. So it's just a fear-mongering thing.
And you think local law enforcement won't investigate the death of a child?
And we're going to talk about that because there have been some deaths, but they weren't this. But yeah, like I said, they'd be more likely to kill kids if they did that, which would, and this is me speaking with autistic candor, okay, would be a waste of resources on both ends.
It would.
You know what I mean?
It makes no practical sense.
Giving free product and killing your customers is not a good business model.
Yeah, you're not going to believe this. Drug operations, they kind of want to stay off the radar.
Anyway, you'll be happy to know that there has not been a case of Halloween candy laced with fentanyl to this day, ever.
There you have it.
So,
thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.
I'm not saying there is not illegal or street fentanyl out there.
Yeah. Sure, it could happen. Yeah.
We've talked about that anyway already, but we're talking strictly about Halloween candy and strangers giving kids poison candy just because they're psychos. Now, there have been accidental overdoses of CBD gummies on any regular day because they look like candy. However, I think we even talked about a school one time where a substitute gave some kids, they thought it was candy, and it turned out to be, yeah. So just be mindful and make sure that those Sour Patch Kids are not actually Stony Patch Kids.
Ayo.
Okay? Because there are some that look like the candy brands.
Flip that.
It's a thing. You got to be careful what you're reading, or if you have like these kind of gummies or any kind of medication or supplement like that, you need to be putting it far away from kids and know that that's what that is, that it's not candy. Because even if grandma comes over and she sees it, yeah, you can have one. No, keep it away from her too. Okay, there have been incidents. But let's just cut the misinformation and fear mongering. Just be smart and observant on any holiday.
Which may be too much to ask, but we're going to do it anyway.
And I feel like I'm saying a lot too, because it's real, at least down here in the South, where it's like, no, you can't go trick or treating because the devil and fentanyl. They're putting it in your candy and it's dangerous. And
that's how the devil gets a foothold in your life.
But then later on, well, they're fear mongering. Like, you're fear mongering. What's wrong with trick or treating? I think trick or treating is fun.
Just doing that.
Oh my gosh, right? I just call it like I see it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Is it the devil or is it just something you don't understand?
And then this is probably part of the reason why there's the whole trunk or treat thing, where it's like, well, we trust this group of people, So we're only gonna let our kids go to this. And trunk or treats are fun, but I still let my kid go trick or treating too.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with trunk or treats, but if you're doing it just because you're like, I don't trust these people, they're gonna put stuff in my candy, and it's a fear that has been around for a long time, and I just want to dispel some of that fear.
It's enfolded with the it's enfolded with the satanic panic.
Because it's been around for this myth has been around for decades. Okay. So it's been an urban legend for decades. Now, don't get me wrong, there have been a few killjoys that were arrested back in the 50s and 60s for some pretty messed up pranks.
Yeah, there are some psychopaths out there.
Actions. It's rare, though, and these could have gone very wrong pretty quick. For instance, in 1959, a dentist in California named William Shine, a dentist, gave candy-coated laxatives to some trick-or-treaters as, I guess, a prank. And it's like, okay, haha, laxatives, but you can hurt somebody giving them too much of that too. You know what I mean? Like, it's not okay to do that. He was arrested and charged with outrage of public decency. I hope that charge is still around because that's fun. And unlawful dispensing of drugs. In 1964, a mean old lady in Long Island, New York, gave out inedible treats in bags to teenagers. Treats. She deemed that these teenagers were too old to be trick-or-treating. Which, look, these kids could be doing something way worse.
First of all, how dare you?
I'm 40. Okay. I don't go to the houses and ask for candy, but I dress up and I walk around. But if this is all these kids are doing, they're dressing up and getting candy.
Come on.
They could be doing way worse stuff.
We use the fact that we have a child to dress up and do Halloween things.
Yeah, and she doesn't eat the candy, so she actually doesn't. Camilla does not like candy much at all. She's getting a little bit more into trying things, but yeah. And also, kids these days look older too than they are.
Yeah.
Like there are kids Camilla's age that are taller than me because I'm kind of short too. But so it just makes me mad when people are like this. Like, let kids be kids for as long as they can before they get out in the real world. But some of these inedible treats apparently included steel wool, dog biscuits, and small toxic ant buttons, which were these just literal insecticide pieces, I guess, for killing ants. So that's not very nice. Now, none of them ate any of this because it was, labeled as such. She was giving it to them as kind of a, here, you're too old to be doing this. Take this instead. Sort of just a mean whatever. So of course, none of them were hurt because they knew what they were and they were like, okay, weird. So yeah, no one was injured. She too was arrested and charged with endangering children. There was a tragedy in 1970 in the Detroit, Michigan area when a 5-year-old boy died after finding his uncle's heroin stash and ingesting it.
Oh, God.
The family tried to blame it on the laced Halloween candy myth in order to protect the uncle.
My goodness.
So there were some rare few cases of meanies and crazies and cover-ups using the myth, But stories really grew in proportion after a very real and intentional poisoning case involving a young boy whose death was blamed on the Pixie Stix he had been given while trick-or-treating. So let's start from the beginning with this one.
All right.
It was Halloween night, October 31st, for any uncultured swine. I'm not aware of the date. In 1974, and Ronald Clark O'Brien took his 2 children, Timothy, who was 8 years old at the time, and Elizabeth, who was 6 years old, trick-or-treating in a Pasadena, Texas neighborhood with a neighbor and his 2 children. Pretty normal Halloween activity, I'm going to have a hard time saying Ronald O'Brien's wife's name because the words get switched in my head, and I'll tell you why in a second. Okay. Ronald, his wife, Danine, my head really just wants to say Nadine.
Danine?
It's Danine, Daynene.
Okay.
Danine?
Danene? Sorry. Ron?
His wife, Danine, who I hope...
Okay, Balake.
Who I hope is still alive and well and having a better time of it than this point in her life. But Ronald, his wife, Danine, and their 2 children lived in Deer Park, Texas, near Houston. While out that night, one household they visited did not answer, so the kids ran on to the next house, excited as kids are on Halloween. While Mr. O'Brien decided to wait there in case someone did answer. This is what he said. Now, he later caught up with the rest of them, and he had a bunch of these huge, like 21-inch Pixie Stix with him, claiming that someone finally did come to the door and gave them to him. Now, at the end of the night, he gave his neighbor's kids 2 of the Pixie Stix and another 2 to his own children. He had one more. He had 5 in total. And he reportedly gave the last one to a 10-year-old boy that he had recognized from church. After getting home, little Timothy said he wanted to eat some of the Pixie Stix that he had received, so his father helped him open it and helped give him some of the candy powder out of it. Like, this is what was reported, basically, by Ronald. Once he had a bit, Timothy reportedly said that it tasted strange and it was bitter. He didn't have a lot, but his dad gave him some Kool-Aid to wash the candy flavor down, and moments later, Timothy was complaining of abdominal pain before rushing to the bathroom. He was vomiting and convulsing in the bathroom, and his father said that he just went limp during the episode.
Oh.
Timothy died on the way to the hospital less than an hour after consuming the candy. An autopsy was done, and it revealed that Timothy had died of potassium cyanide poisoning. Now, obviously, the whole state of Texas was terrified, and parents living in the area where the group went trick-or-treating basically turned over their children's Halloween candy for fear of it being poisoned, which I'm sure the kids were like, I worked hard for that. You've seen that, that old Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes.
I was always conflicted about that, though.
Yeah, it's a cool thing to... It's a prank, I get it, but like, it was tough, something more tough to watch.
Yeah, like, I just couldn't do that to my kid, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, though, Camilla wouldn't care because she didn't eat candy. She'd be like, okay. She literally forgets about it. She just enjoys the act of going to do it. The police recovered the 4 Pixie Stix that had been given to the O'Brien's children and the neighbor's children, but the fifth, took a little while longer to find. When they did find it, the 10-year-old that O'Brien had recognized from church had it in bed with him, but he had been unable to open it due to the staples holding it shut. Like, they literally found him, like, he'd fallen asleep while trying to open it, so he didn't eat any of it. So he didn't,
Okay.
He didn't ingest it. But he could have. With closer inspection, it could be seen where these Pixie Stix had been opened at the top previously, then restapled after the poison had been added in. So, like, all of the Pixie Stix that they recovered had the poison in them. According to a pathologist who tested the Pixie Stix, the candy consumed by Timothy contained enough cyanide to kill 2 adults, while the other 4 candies contained enough to kill 3 to 4 adults. It was just fortunate that the other kids had not eaten the candy. Now, police became suspicious once Timothy's dad, Ronald O'Brien, told them he could not really remember which house he had gotten the Pixie Stix from, even though, like, he was the one who had waited there the longest and had been handed the giant Pixie Stix. Like, I feel like that's something I don't know. I can't remember where my keys are half the time, but I remember stuff about random things. Like, I'd remember that house. They became even more suspicious because it was discovered that O'Brien and his neighbor had only taken their children to homes on, like, 2 streets because it had been raining. So it wasn't like they'd been all over the neighborhood. Also, none of the houses on those streets had reported handing out Pixie Stix or were reported by others of having that they had received Pixie Stix from any of these houses. The police had Ronald O'Brien walk the 2 streets with them to find the house that he had received the poison candy from. After they ended up walking the whole neighborhood like 3 times, he finally stopped at a house. No one answered the door after they rang or knocked, and this is where O'Brien claimed that he went before catching up with the group. He said the owner of the home did not turn the lights on, but did crack the door open and hand him 5 Pixie Stix. It was discovered that the owner of the house was a man named Courtney Melvin, who worked as an air traffic controller at the William P. Hobby Airport, and that he had worked Halloween night until just before 11 p.m. There were over 200 people that were able to confirm that he had been at work that night. So police were able to rule him out pretty easily. So let's get some background on the dad, shall we? At the time all this happened, Ronald O'Brien was an optician at Texas State Optical, as well as a deacon at the Second Baptist Church.
Red flag. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I'm triggered.
where he also sang in the choir and ran a bus program. Also, he had been through 21 jobs within the last 10 years, and he was in approximately $100,000 in debt. This would have, back then, this would be about $640,000
Oh my
in
God.
2024 money.
How does he own anything at that point?
He was
Okay.
also likely about to be fired from his optician job as he was suspected of theft there. His car was about to be repossessed, his house had been foreclosed on, and he had already defaulted on several bank loans. As if these were not already some red flags, investigators also discovered that he had taken out life insurance policies on both of his children.
Okay.
In January of 1974, he had taken out $10,000, which would be the equivalent today of about close to $64,000, life insurance policies on both of his children. So that times two. 1 month before Timothy's death, O'Brien took out an additional $20,000, which would be equivalent today to about $127,500, basically.
Okay.
And he did this for both children as well. Now, this was despite objections from the life insurance agency. They were like, why?
How do they report that stuff? How do they be like, actually, we can't?
I mean, I imagine they keep record of it. So I don't know how often this happens. Here we are. Just days before. So even after that, days before, O'Brien had taken out yet another $20,000 policy on each child. The various policies totaled approximately $100,000, equivalent to about $637,600 in 2024. Now, his wife, Danine.
Watch me whip. Now watch Danine. Sorry. I'm quitting the podcast.
She reported that she did not know anything about these insurance policies on her children's lives. On the morning after Timothy's death, O'Brien had reportedly called his insurance company to inquire about collecting the policies that he had taken out on his son. I mean, like the next day. Dang. Okay. That's what he was thinking about. It was also later learned that Ronald O'Brien had visited a chemical supply store in Houston just before Halloween in search of some cyanide powder.
Huh?
He ended up not buying any there, though, after learning he would have to buy at least 5 pounds, as that was the smallest amount sold, like in one thing. So things are really starting to point at the dad here, and not some poisoned candy from a stranger who just put his hand out the door mysteriously.
I can see he's single fisting 5 pixies.
You know what I mean? Like,
want some candy, kids?
Like, who just has poisoned 5 Pixie Stix that are poisoned with cyanide? So anyway, throughout the investigation, Ronald O'Brien claimed that he was innocent, and he would continue to do so. Regardless, he was arrested on November 5th, 1974, for the murder of his 8-year-old son, Timothy O'Brien. His trial began on May 5th, 1975, and he was indicted on 1 count of capital murder and 4 counts of attempted murder, because remember, he'd given those other Pixie Stix to other kids.
Brother.
The motive put forth for killing his son and likely going after his daughter next was obviously the insurance money. And, like, he probably would have, like, you know what I mean? Like, had he
it's
not.
Unthinkable.
Yeah. Imagine, like, being that daughter, like, later, where it's like, it could have been me.
I don't like green food.
But yeah, his attempt to poison the other 3 children was him trying to throw off police using the whole defense that some stranger gave them all the candy. Like, he was trying to make it look like someone else had just gave all of them this candy. And he was playing off this old urban legend that had been around for a long time, but even then it didn't have any basis of fact to it. Throughout his trial and after, he would be labeled the Candyman by press. Ronald O'Brien entered a plea of not guilty, but the evidence against him was pretty obvious. The witnesses against him during the trial were also pretty damning.
You said pretty, just like Gilderoy Lockhart and Harry Potter. Pretty obvious what you were doing there. You said it just like him.
Oh, God.
Magical me. Free of charge.
I do love parts of the books where he's in it and he's like forcing Harry to do like pictures and Harry's like, oh my God, get off of me. Right.
Clout chaser.
And like every time Harry would say something, he would show up and twist it like, are you signing autographs, Harry? Harry's like, no, please, no. Yeah. Oh, that man's crazy. One such witness, a chemist he somehow knew, stated that O'Brien had called him recently to ask about cyanide and how much of the poison would be fatal. Another witness, a chemical supply company salesman, stated that O'Brien had questioned him about how to purchase cyanide. Some of O'Brien's friends and coworkers testified that he had been unusually interested in cyanide, talking about its effects and the dose that it would take to kill someone. Like, he's just... And look, I know I have my own special interests, but I'm not like, hey, did you know? Like, you can put this in the candy, only this much, and it'll kill this many people. And
well, this is all academic, Tom, right? Of course, Professor. I fell into a bit of rare magic in the restricted section. The other professors, well, they won't understand.
Oh my God.
They're not like you.
Freaking sociopath, man.
Like Dr. Horace Slughorn, you are dealing with a sociopath, sir. Anyways.
Poor Horace. Anyway, now his sister-in-law and brother-in-law testified that he had told them during Timothy's funeral that he planned to use the life insurance money for a long vacation and to buy various items that he wanted. You're at your son's funeral and you're like, yeah, about to come into a lot of money, you know, just going to go on vacation, maybe get some stuff I've always wanted, you know, pay off some of that debt that I'm in. Maybe not. Anyway, O'Brien's wife, Daneen, actually testified that Timothy had not even wanted the Pixie Stix that night. Ronald was the one who told police, like, yeah, he wanted the Pixie Stix, so I got the Pixie Stix. But his wife was like, he didn't even want the Pixie Stix that night. It was the husband that actually chose the Pixie Stix for him to eat that night. It took 46 minutes for a jury to find Ronald O'Brien guilty of all charges on June 3rd, 1975, and another 71 minutes to sentence him to death by lethal injection.
Brother.
Poison for poison, I suppose.
Ayo.
Sorry.
Wow.
Here we are. His wife did file for divorce, and she would go on to get remarried, and his daughter adopted by that husband, so at least she was able to put some of that behind her. While
awful.
On death row, he was labeled as friendless, as the other inmates hated him for his crime of killing his child.
That's so hysterical to me, how much shade you can get in prison. Even in prison, they're like, bro, that's messed up.
Yeah, but they hated him for his crime of killing his child.
I mean, I killed people, but they weren't kids. God.
And trying to kill other children, because he literally...
It's sinister, honestly.
He gave us, he could have killed his neighbor's kids and that kid he recognized from church. He's just like, yeah, you're dispensable here. You know what I mean?
It's a different level, man.
Gosh. Now, the other inmates even petitioned to hold an organized demonstration on O'Brien's execution date just to show their hatred of the man. They hated him. His first execution date was set for August 8th, 1980, but his lawyer was able to get a stay of execution. I'm not sure how or why. All this did was extend the time to May 25th, 1982. It was postponed again, though, and he would finally have his execution on October 31st, 1982.
Get out of town.
Halloween. 8 years to the day that he killed his son.
Okay, somebody knows what they're doing.
And the judge who set this date said he would gladly drive the man to his execution for him. He was like, it's going to happen.
Brother.
That judge was done. He was like, oh, God. So, and we're talking Texas here, you know, like, Texas is famous for like, we'll kill you.
And we won't think about it again.
Yeah. So, yeah. O'Brien's last words were, what is about to transpire in a few moments is wrong. However, we as human beings do make mistakes and errors. This execution is one of those wrongs, yet doesn't mean our whole system of justice is wrong. Therefore, I would forgive all who have taken part in any way in my death. Also, to anyone I have offended in any way during my 39 years, I pray and ask your forgiveness, just as I forgive anyone who offended me in any way. and I pray and ask God's forgiveness for all of us, respectively as human beings. To my loved ones, I extend my undying love. To those close to me, know in your hearts I love you, one and all. God bless you all, and may God's best blessings be always yours. Ronald C. O'Brien. P.S. During my time here, I have been treated well by all TDC personnel. So he still was like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, the amount of evidence against this man was...
That sounded like Hannibal Lecter talking.
So that is the more famous case of death by Halloween candy. And it was the father that intentionally murdered his son, not candy from a stranger while trick-or-treating, although he tried to blame it on that. I do want to mention just a few cases that were also blown out of proportion by the media when they happened. These were a report before knowing sort of cases, if you will, and were later proven false, actually, but they didn't help in the whole myth, the whole urban legend of your kids are going to die on Halloween, right?
Yeah.
In 1978, there was a 2-year-old boy in Flint, Michigan, who died after eating some Halloween candy. Can they even eat candy at that age? Like, Camilla won't eat candy now, so I honestly don't know about other kids. That just seems like a young age for candy. Anyway, toxicology tests showed no evidence of poisoning, and it was determined that he had died of natural causes. I don't know exactly what, but it wasn't poison.
Okay.
In 1990, a 7-year-old girl died in California after eating Halloween candy, and the press prematurely put out a statement that it was poison. It was, in fact, due to an enlarged heart condition that
come on, you guys.
that she had, and her parents knew about already, and they'd actually told the police about it already as well, but the press just sort of threw it out there. It has to be the candy. This was later confirmed to be the cause of death, not poisoning, as had been reported.
Mm-hmm.
A 4-year-old in Vancouver, British Columbia, died in 2001 after eating Halloween candy, but not because of poison. She actually died of a strep infection. So all of these, obviously tragic, but they were not, they did not die from poison Halloween candy. There's a sociologist that actually studies these poison candy myths specifically. Like, what a field, like that's a very specific field to go in. His name,
you would love that.
his name is Joel Best. And he looked at news reports between 1958 and 1983 to find cases of candy tampering in general. I feel like that was a time when that urban legend was sort of really huge, and now it's popped up again, I feel like, with the whole fentanyl scares and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he found fewer than 90 cases that might qualify as such, and none of them were random acts to harm children. In fact, most cases were attempts by adults to gain financial compensation, or far more commonly, by children to get attention. He explained that children see and hear these stories, and some attempt to copy or act them out, poisoning candy themselves and bringing it to the parents, only to later admit or be found out that they did it to the candy themselves. Why? Why do children call 911 knowing it's for emergency use only?
Yeah.
Why do children like social media challenges? I used to lie about the weirdest stuff to fit in, but I'm also autistic. Like, part of me just liked pretending that much as well, though. I was, and still am, a maladaptive daydreamer. I don't like reality. I just daydream a lot. It gets very vivid. Like that brother I said I had in elementary school. I told everybody I had a brother.
You still miss him?
I do miss my brother. We had great times.
I remember when you said that. You
great
said,
conversation.
I miss my brother.
My non-existent brother. I never lied about poisoning candy, though. Most of mine were just weird, not dangerous, kind of make-believe things, right? And I don't like that whole excuse of, oh, all kids lie. Like, I think you should listen to your kids, but it's like, listen to the whole story and just make sure, like, find out information. Now, in these cases, the children do not eat the messed up candy because they know it's messed up because they messed it up. And therefore, they're not hurt. But it spread further myths about random tampering of candy or treats. While news and other media sources are adamant that, yes, this does happen, kids are targeted every Halloween. Almost all tampering cases, at a rate of like 1 or 2 per year, involve a friend or family member, and usually it's a prank.
Mm-hmm.
There has only been one minor injury from random tampering of candy on Halloween, and it was by a mentally ill man back in 2000. This was in Minneapolis, and the man put sewing needles into candy bars before giving them out to some teenagers who were trick-or-treating.
Gross.
Thankfully, like I said, only one teen had a minor injury. It's likely that the man actually did this after hearing of the urban myths, however, and acting it out in whatever mental illness he had going on. The source didn't specify the mental illness, but no child has died as a result of poisoned Halloween candy. So I just want to put that out there. I mean,
There you
like
go.
intentional poisoning of Halloween candy by strangers. You know what I mean? Like it's just not a thing that has happened. So, we have talked about accidental candy poisonings in general, like the Bradley Sweets poisoning back in 1858, where arsenic trioxide was accidentally sold as plaster of Paris, which was then used like in foods, like sweets and candies.
Mm-hmm.
And it was used in the making of candy that led to 200 poisonings and 20 deaths. That was an accidental mislabeling of product. And also, I think they were like in the pharmacy, they were put in the same spot. It's like, why would you? It caused a lot of changes in how things were done, like made some laws and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's also been other more intentional poisonings, such as the Punjab sweets poisoning that I am actually saving for a future episode. The random poisoning of children on Halloween for psychofunsies, however, is more myth and result of myth. So just wanted to help anybody that might be specifically afraid of that sort of thing happening during Halloween, because it's not, it's a myth. It's an urban legend. Have there been children who died on Halloween? Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
The one we talked about happened to be in relation to a family situation.
But for anyone who's terrified of Halloween candy for whatever reason, just send them this episode.
Well, also, like, I think it's important to look through your children's candy to make sure, like, if they're allergic to something, obviously you want to make sure they don't eat something that has been touching or has peanuts, or if you know what I mean, like if it's got something like that. I get that. That's obviously something you need to do. And I do a general look through of the candy because our neighbors graciously give the adults like little Jello shots.
Yeah.
With Fireball in them, right? And I just, right. I'm just making sure my kid didn't accidentally think it was a sweet and grab it and put it in her.
Sure.
I'm just, there obviously you look through your kid's candy, but the whole idea of like that Tootsie Roll being poisoned by a random stranger because they hate kids or something, is not it's an urban legend. So should you go through your kids' things? Yeah. But just, let them have some fun and don't panic over the sight of trick-or-treaters.
You already have enough to worry about as a parent. Yeah. Halloween candy should not be an irrational.
Honestly, yeah, the more dangerous thing for kids, usually with trick-or-treating, is cars and accidents, things like that.
Yeah.
So just be aware of your surroundings and yeah.
Excellent stuff, my dear. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. That's going to do it for this episode. We will see you in the next one.
There's a mosquito in here.
Bye for now.
Bye.